Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Mayim. I want to give all honor and glorification to the Most High, and I do so in the name of His only begotten Son. And the title of this video is just going to be called Faith. Faith. Let's get the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and 1. Let's get the definition of faith. So the definition of faith is, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. So something you want, the evidence of things not seen. Something you want, and you're trying to believe in it, but you do not see it. That's the definition of faith. Believing that something can be attained without seeing it. Hoping and wanting for something that it's not, you can't see. Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 17 and 14. It's the book of Matthew chapter 17 and verse 14. And this is going to, a man, he bowed down to the Lord because his son is a lunatic. But the disciples, they couldn't heal him, so they came to the Lord. It reads, and when they were come to a multitude, there came to a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic. Let's get the definition of a lunatic. In Bible Hub, it say a word formed from the Latin luna, the moon, and thus corresponding the original Greek word to the English moonstruck, applied to a class of persons mentally and often corporately diseased who were believed to suffer most when the moon was full. Insanity. So basically somebody that's mentally not in the right space. Right? So that's what a lunatic is. Mentally ill, maybe crazy to that extent. Right? It say, there came to him a man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For all the time he fall up in a fire and offered to the water. And they brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. So the disciples couldn't even cure this lunatic, right? And this is what Christ said. Listen to what Christ said. It say, then Yahushua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. Bring him to me. And Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he was departed out of him. So he casted that spirit out of that boy. And the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Jesus, or Yahushua, apart, and said, why could not we cast him out? So they're like, why we couldn't cast this demon out? And Yahushua said, listen to this. Because of your unbelief. They didn't believe they can do it. That's why they couldn't do it. For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by praying and fasting. So certain demons cannot come out by praying and fasting, but you have to believe. And Christ is saying you can do anything if you believe. And you also can go to Philippians 4 and 13, the classic that Christians like to use, but it's a great precept. It say, I can do all things through Christ that strengthened me. Not a little bit of things, all things. You can do anything through Christ that strengthens you, Let's get the book of Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7. It's like it. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, and I believe 7. It say, for we walk by faith, not by sight. So we walk by our belief. We're not walking by what we see. It's a saying in the world that say, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. I believe that's the right saying. Right? You don't want to believe things that you see, because things that you see is deceiving. We walking by faith. You understand? Now let's get this last precept in Hebrews chapter 11 and 13. It's the book of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13. It say, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from which they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned But now they desire a better country that is in heavenly, wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, everlasting life. And that's what we want. That's the ultimate promise, that we looking for. Yeah, we don't see the kingdom of heaven right now, but the Lord promised us that we would get it, if we believe in him and we keep the law, statutes, commandments, have faith in Christ, and do the best we can. They didn't see the promises, of, Israel being as the sand of the sea. They didn't see these different promises that the Lord gave them in that time past, but they believed until the end. And guess what? Now they got the promises of seeing that, and plus more. How much more us? Yeah, we don't see these things now, but we will see them if we believe. We got to think of our forefathers and move in that same spirit. They didn't see those promises of the land, of being Israel being multiplied as the sand of the sea, or all the other things that was promised in those times. They didn't see those, or a lot of the things they didn't see. But as I stated, they will see them in the future, and we got to think about that, man.